Tomorrow is Saturday the 27th of June, which is the day of my half marathon time trial. It is my first time running a time trial for that distance, so it will be interesting to see what I can get. I am aiming for 1:45, which is not shooting too high or too low for what I think I can do. For the training block, I self-coached through it. It's on week 14 now. On week 10 of the block, I ended up with a bit of knee pain, which I found to be from weak glutes and tight hips, which was affecting my ITB and referring to the knee. So it was a bit of a harsh lesson on why you need to rehab and strength train, which I was both not doing. So now that I am doing that, I think I will be a better runner moving forward. But it did mean that I had to drop down to pretty much no running for 2 weeks, and then my volume has been dropped for the past 2 weeks, which meant that I've probably lost a bit of fitness, but I think I've gained it up to the point where I'm okay and I think I can still get that goal. With the whole training block, it has gone well. I started off with a base building phase, then moved into more tempo style workouts and eventually into intervals. And I did build up my long runs to quite long for me, over 20 kilometers. So it was overall successful. And for the taper, it's been good too. I just did simple workouts, short, sharp workouts, and I'm not too sore. So I think I'll be okay going into the run tomorrow. About a year ago, I stepped out the front door one night and just went out and did a 5K without really thinking about it, and went all out and got my then PB, and I consider that day being the day that I was a runner. So it's been about a year since that point, and it's cool to see that I've gotten up to the half marathon distance now racing that. It's not an official race or an official time due to the fact that there is still COVID-19 restrictions going around in Australia, so there are no events on. My plan for this run is to refuel at kilometre 7 and kilometre 14 with just energy gels and Gatorade Endurance. So hopefully that all goes to plan. It'll be fed to me off of the bike. Because it's not an official event, I don't need to wait for aid stations. I can do it exactly when I want to do. So that should work out in my favour, and I've been training for that. The course for this run is a waterfront course. It's pretty much got no elevation, and it does circle back on itself twice and then ends at a field where I can just run around until the GPS tells me that I'm done the distance, due to the fact that it's not an officially measured course. Today I did just a bit of a light upper body workout and core strengthening, and then I'll also do a 20-minute shakeout run and just a few strides just to get everything turning over and make sure that the speed is still there. So I am excited to see what goes down tomorrow, and hopefully it all turns out exactly to plan. So we're 45 minutes out from the run, just near the starting line over that way. I'm just going to do a 1 mile warm up and then some drills, and then be at the starting line. So this was my first half marathon racing or going for a red line effort or a time trial. So I didn't really know how to do it, what was the best strategy for pacing. So luckily I was being paced for it by somebody that knew what they were doing, so I was able to just take their advice. My own way of doing it, if I was by myself, I would have went somewhere a bit slower than the race pace for about 8 kilometers, and then would have went at the race pace for the next 8 kilometers, and then tried to just go all out for the rest of it from there. Here's a dog. As it turned out, we went around just under race pace for 1 kilometre and then stayed above race pace for the next 3 or 4 kilometres. And then from there, really, it was a average pace more around the 450 mark for the rest of it until the final kilometre, which was in the 420s. So from there, I think pacing went well. I didn't really go in too much knowing exactly what I wanted to do, so I just followed the leader pretty much. We were in a pack of 3 for a lot of it, and then I went away from that and joined the next person along for the rest of it. So I'm happy with how that did turn out. And in terms of fueling strategy, that was completely out the window. Everything I wanted to happen didn't, and I just couldn't do it. I had 2 gels that I wanted at kilometre 7 and kilometre 14. Turns out I did not need those gels at all. I probably could have went without them, but I thought maybe after the 90-minute mark I might have kind of went downhill, so I decided just to have half a gel at around halfway through, and that was probably the biggest mistake of the whole time trial. That ended up in me having cramps for pretty much the rest of the race and really did impact my final time. So that is a lesson learnt there, that if you don't need the gel, don't take the gel when it comes to half marathon distance at least. For hydration, that all went to plan. I'd had drinks I think twice, just a Gatorade Endurance at somewhere after 7 or 8 kilometres, and then somewhere maybe 11 kilometres. All in all, the race plan was more positive than negative and was successful from there. The hardest point of the race would probably be the whole second half, because around halfway through I started to get cramps from that gel, which just made it so I couldn't push the pace any further, even if I felt like I could in my legs and my breathing. I was really just stuck at that pace that I was at, which was faster than my goal pace, luckily. So from there it was hard because I was just getting cramps and stitches in my stomach, and as it approached more and more into the end of the race, in that last 5 kilometres where I was trying to push, and then that last 3 kilometres where I was really trying to push, I just couldn't do it. Even though my breathing was there, my breathing was ready to go, my legs were ready to go, I just couldn't get that stitch I couldn't get past that stitch that I was feeling, and I just had this phlegm built up in my throat. I know it sounds gross, but yeah, I had this build up in my throat and I just couldn't get it out, and that just ended up in me, as I was getting over the finish line, I was literally almost projectile vomiting on everyone that was there, and I collapsed straight away, and I was just pretty much vomiting up spit. There was no vomit, it wasn't much, but I got it out of my throat, and then I was able to just take that big deep breath in. And so yeah, to answer that question, definitely the hardest part of the race was the whole second half, and in particular the last 5 kilometres. The course was great. It's a course that I knew like the back of my hand. I created the course obviously, so I knew every single part of it, where I needed to speed up, where I needed to hold it back, where I could use downhills to my advantage, everything like that, where I needed to kick, where I needed to back off. So from there the course is just great. Plus having water views the whole time pretty much was really good, just to take your attention away from what was happening to your body, obviously, and your mind. Just trying to get your mind in the most positive place is really important in a run like that. So to me, yeah, the course was probably the best I could ask for, really. It was basically flat. Hills were minimal, really. So yeah, happy with that. What I could have done better in the lead up is not do 40 days straight of running without a rest, which is what I did at one point. And that really did lead to my overuse injury. I never needed to stop. I always listened to my body, and my body never said stop. There was one point, which was probably 2 weeks before the injury, I did listen a bit, and I backed off the volume just because I felt heavy. So I backed it off and then brought it back up again because I felt good again. And then weirdly, on the day after I stopped that 40-day run streak and I did a walk, then I went back into running the day after that. That's when I started feeling the pain in my knee, which really did hinder the whole training block. But in my preparation, I think I did everything right from what I could have and from what I know. I need to really improve my knowledge and just keep training and keep learning and keep improving. Yeah, the result I was really happy with. I still am really happy with it. It's now been 4 days since the run, and I'm still just so happy that I could have achieved that. But it's just a bit of wondering, what if I didn't get that cramping and stitching in my stomach? Could have I taken even a minute off the time, like as much as a minute? I feel like that is a possibility. But with a goal going into it wanting to do 1:45, which is 5 minute per kilometre pace, and getting 1:43.24, that is a big improvement, or a big jump from where I was going for. So yeah, I just got to be happy with it. There's no really complaints other than that what could have been. But I trained and I went and I succeeded what I went out to do. So yeah, I'm happy with the result. So now it's kind of, that's kind of 3 runs or races that I've been preparing for quite a while, back to back to back, going a 10k in February, then a 10k in March, and a half marathon now. So I'm going to keep pushing forward, but the goals are now a bit different. I'm not going to be building up to that marathon, which is what originally was going to be happening before the travel restrictions and everything. Now it's just getting that 5k speed up. I know that I want to be a 5k type runner as my specific run now, but I think even shorter distances than that are my specialty. But 5k is really the main goal. Sub 25k is where I want to be. I also want to just improve my knowledge on everything to do with training and running and all the principles of fitness. I am studying to be a personal trainer. I'm in the last stages of that now, and I want to eventually progress into athletic coaching and recreational running coaching. So really from now it's just about building up my aerobic base, building up the speed in my legs, keep learning, keep building, and keep educating myself on everything I can do in the future. And in terms of what I want to do with this channel, I want to start releasing videos on obviously still the time trials that I've got planned, which is the 1k, the 1 mile, the 5k, the 3k, all of those I want to be doing, and some little challenges here and there. But I also want to be doing educational videos on things such as, top 3 exercises that a runner should do, or how the principle of progression applies to running, and making specific videos on that. And if there is anyone watching this that wants to know anything, just put it in the comments and a video will probably be made on it. So from there, thank you for watching this whole experience. I tried to make it as nice as possible to watch. With the GoPro footage, it was a bit stretched, but there's not much I can do about that. It was just a mistake that I will need to look out for in the future, making sure that it is recording in the right ratio. Even though it should have been, it just wasn't for some reason, and it went back to normal without any settings changing after. So thank you for watching. We're going to move onwards and upwards, and I'll see you in the next video.